Pokemon Ranger! I choose you!
What's up my dear boys and girls from around the world, it's your Ranger Boy here and welcome to a video which oddly enough isn't on YouTube yet, so I thought to myself, yeah, why not doing that? First of all, before I will start with the video, I have to apologize to you guys because I know I haven't answered to any comments yet, but that's because I'm still really sick, and also by the time this video has been uploaded, I'm unfortunately on vacation right now, but no need to worry guys, no need to worry, I will still upload as frequently as possible. For example, I have prepared some discussion videos, some cracks, and of course my reviews will go up as always. So no need to worry guys. But let's go straight into the video. I know people don't really give a damn about my top 10s, but I do it because I enjoy making them nearly as much as I enjoy making my other videos. But I don't do them a lot because they tend to be so long. But let's get right into my top 10 fave Pokemon of Ash's friends. Why do I make this video? Well, because for years, Ash has been gaining all the anime spotlight while the other characters just got left in the dust. And unfortunately, same goes with their Pokemon and Ash's Pokemon. That's why I decided that for once, they should get some spotlight, which they really deserve. And also, some of them really became my fave Pokemon in the anime. Before I will start, I will say that I've chosen just one Pokemon per character so that nobody gets an advantage, and I will judge them based on their character development, and their bond with their trainers, rather than their battling skills. Also, since it's my opinion, I really hope that you won't get angry if your fave Pokemon isn't on this list, and if you will get angry, well, sorry. But let's start, shall we? At number 10 we have Bonnie's DEDENNE. Well, it's not really hard to choose a Pokemon when it comes to Bonnie, since DEDENNE is her only Pokemon, and technically it's not even hers to begin with. But hey, we all know that DEDENNE is Bonnie's Pokemon. But what can I say about DEDENNE? Yes, Proto, it's DEDENNE, not
Din 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 din. There we go.
Well, on the one hand, it's short, it likes to sleep, and it likes to eat. That's totally like me. But on the other hand, I really love how playful and energetic it can be. And I especially like DEDENNE's brotherly bond with Pikachu and Goodra, and how close they are to each other, and especially to Goodra, since Gumi first even hated fairy-type Pokemon, and then to see how they became friends later on was just so adorable. And surprisingly enough, it also has a lot of battling potential, which also just shows how awesome Bonnie will be as a future trainer. So that's why number 10. At number 9 we have MISTYS PSYDUCK. To be honest, most of her Pokemon actually don't really have an outstanding character, like her Goldeen, her Horsey, her Gyarados. Hell, Stario and Starmie don't even have a voice. They only shout, HAH! Basically, you could say that most of her Pokemon are as bland as empty as Misty herself. Just kidding guys, nothing against her, so Gem Waters, calm down your tits. But the only Pokemon I always enjoyed the most of her team is PSYDUCK, because it always seems to be confused when going out of its Pokeball while having that smoke weed everyday look. But it also can be such a badass in battle, which in my opinion is actually really impressive. What I actually like the most about PSYDUCK is that constant love-hate relationship it got with Misty. Sometimes Misty just wants to smack PSYDUCK right in the face, and all of a sudden she can't live without it. And I love how they show that relationship. But can someone please explain to me why Junichi Masuda loves PSYDUCK so much? I mean, he really loves PSYDUCK, believe me guys. He even got a customized card with him and PSYDUCK printed on it. Maybe in Masuda's opinion, PSYDUCK is love, PSYDUCK is life. And well, Mr. Masuda, hope you won't get PSYDUCKed at the end. At number 8 we have James CHIMECO. Wait, hold on long. I thought we were talking about Ash's friends. And Team Rocket clearly are the villains, aren't they? Of course, they are the main villains of the anime, and they always try to catch Pikachu, but let's be honest, those three adorable clowns are nearly as old as the anime itself. And I do believe that at a certain point, even Team Rocket kinda have a little friendship-like relationship with Ash. So at a certain degree, you can call them Ash's friends as well. But although their friendship with Ash might not be clear, fortunately enough, the friendship between CHIMECO and James is clear as the sky itself. And first, I wanna say I just love how they bonded with each other since their very first encounter. You remember? At the carnival, where James got screwed over by that Magikarp salesman? Again? And then out of nowhere, a real CHIMECO appeared and immediately joined James. That's what I call love at the first sight. And since that day, James seemed to care more about CHIMECO than any other Pokemon of his team, since he never wanted CHIMECO to get involved into dangerous situations, and you can see how much he loves that Pokemon. And unlike Victreebel, Cacnea or Carnivine, CHIMECO shows its love for James as well without hurting him all the time. So overall, it's a really friendly, calm and lovable Pokemon, and I can understand why James loves this Pokemon so much. At number 7 we have Jessie's WOBBUFFET. Character and comedy wise, there is just one Pokemon in Jessie's history which can be connected with these words, and that's WOBBUFFET. I still remember the first day when I saw the episode where Jessie accidentally traded away her Lickitung for a WOBBUFFET, and I laughed my ass off. But besides being really funny, WOBBUFFET and Jessie really have a strong bond to each other, and sometimes I can't help but to think that their relationship is kinda like MISTYS and PSYDUCK's love-hate relationship. Both really care for each other and they would prefer being together rather than having happiness. When Jessie decides to leave WOBBUFFET so that it could spend time together with a female WOBBUFFET and therefore having a family, WOBBUFFET instead decides to stay by Jessie's side. Such a heartwarming scene, and just another proof that till this day, these two can't live without each other. Guess you could say WOBBUFFET prefers bros over hoes, or in this case, Jessie over love. And I think that's awesome. At number 6 we have Clemonts Chespin. I adore Chespin. Chespin was my very first starter Pokemon when I bought my Pokemon Y version, and I immediately fell in love with its design. And till this day I want a Chespin plush so bad. But the reasons why I fell in love with Clemonts Chespin is that it just reminds me a lot of my fave Pokemon of all time, Ash's Oshawott. They both have adorable Japanese names, Harimaron and Mijumaru, so adorable. And they both love to eat, they both are mostly there for comedic relief, and they both are absolute failures when it comes to love. Chespin is also really confident, sometimes just overconfident, it's always vocal and always gets on Clement's nerves. But unlike Misty and Jessie, they don't really have a love-hate relationship, but they just love each other without a doubt. And I also enjoy how Chespin always tries its best to make new friends. I wish I could do that. So you could say that Chespin really is the XY version of my beloved Oshawott and therefore deserves place number 6. At number 5 we have Brock's CROAGUNK Long. Why? Guys, to be honest, I have no idea why I have chosen CROAGUNK at number 5. Is it because of its slow nature? Is it because of its independence? I don't know. Till this day, CROAGUNK is such a fascinating mystery for me, because facial expression wise it shows zero emotions, and instead it just has this I don't give a damn about anything look. But at the same time, somehow, in my opinion, it can express its feelings and its bond towards Brock as well. Even to the point where a professional connoisseur like Silent underlined how unique their relationship to each other is. And I don't really know how CROAGUNK is doing that. I also like how CROAGUNK is not only the replacement of Max and Misty when it comes to Brock approaching girls, but it also somehow manages to be less annoying. Also, I gotta point out that between all the Pokemon I have mentioned, and I will mention, CROAGUNK is one of the best of them when it comes to battling. It's actually surprisingly strong. So to sum up everything, no matter if it's battling, being independent, or showing emotions without actually showing them, CROAGUNK can do everything and so much more. So fascinating. At number 4, we have the one, the only, the cheeky EMOLGA, Iris's EMOLGA. Hold on tight guys, I know what you guys will tell me in the comment section. The first half of you will say things like, why EMOLGA? Iris has way better Pokemon like Excadrill, Gible, Axew or Dragonite, then why EMOLGA? And the other half of you will say things like, who would put Pokemon of Black and White in this list anyway? Yes, spelling wise, all those Pokemon would be more suitable compared to EMOLGA, but like I said before, I will mostly judge them based on their character, and that's where, in my opinion, EMOLGA is so outstanding. I think you never have seen a Pokemon like this before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who is such a cocky and cheeky Pokemon which tries to fool everybody to get what it wants, no matter if it's friend or enemy. And to have such a Pokemon as a traveling companion indeed was something just like Iris herself. New and refreshing. And that's why I really welcome such a new concept. Also, despite being a little bit lazy when it comes to battling, EMOLGA also has shown several times that it's actually able to battle properly. Until it decides to use Volt Switch to get the fuck out of battle. Also, I always enjoy when Pokemon got some kind of rivalry between each other, like Chespin and Pancham, Oshawott and PIPLUP, and of course, in this case, EMOLGA and Snivy. And even this rivalry shows that even a cocky Pokemon like EMOLGA can step over its pride to cooperate with others. And that's why number 4. At number 3, we have the little cutie, SERENAS EEVEE. Besides being a good dancer and a great performer, there's one thing which in my opinion makes SERENAS EEVEE outstanding compared to nearly all the other Pokemon mentioned in my list so far, and that's its character and especially its character development. You see, when it comes to being relatable, I can definitely relate to SERENAS EEVEE the most. It's shy and antisocial, just like me. But here's where the character development comes to play, because during its journey, not only EEVEE's battling skills, but also its shyness towards new things and new Pokemon has developed greatly, and when finally reached its peak at the time EEVEE evolved into Sylveon. After its evolution, there was no sign of shyness anymore, and instead an open-minded and friendly attitude towards everyone. And I really enjoyed that. Maybe one day I can evolve as well and overcome my shyness and antisocialism towards people and new things. And that's why I always liked SERENAS EEVEE so much. Why it's Miss Low then, despite being so relatable? Well, unfortunately EEVEE aka Sylveon doesn't really have much screen time, which in my opinion is really sad. And hopefully we will get more of Sylveon in the future, but for now it's only number 3. At number 2, we have, I think, the most badass Pokemon in the history of Ash's friends Pokemon, which is, indeed, Blaziken. I think a lot of people would have been disappointed at me if I wouldn't have put this Pokemon on this list, because of its badass status in general and overall battling skills. You know, that Pokemon which you will battle at least once if you are battling online, whether if it's on Pokemon or on Pokken. But what makes May's Blaziken so unique? Because just like May herself, Blaziken, formerly known as Torchic, made such a huge character development as well. When it was a Torchic, it was rather clumsy and also liked to play around, and overall you couldn't take Torchic too serious. And maybe that's why later on May relied more on her Beautifly rather on her Torchic, because with Beautifly May was able to have a performance which looked cuter and more professional. And that's where May's Torchic kinda snapped and also tried to be more serious and mature to show May which Pokemon is May's main performer. While time has passed, Torchic in my opinion surpassed every other Pokemon of May so drastically that its evolution into Combusken and later on to Blaziken was just a matter of time. And not even Beautifly could hold its ground against Blaziken. And even battling wise, Blaziken without a doubt is May's strongest Pokemon. Come on guys, that Pokemon went equal with Ash's Sceptile, so it's indeed really amazing. I can describe my number 1 with a few words. It's pride, and at the same time it has a short temper. It's PIPLUP! Yes, it's time for Dawn's PIPLUP to enter the stage of my top 10. And of course, I had no other choice but to choose PIPLUP when it comes to Dawn's Pokemon. And I guess PIPLUP wouldn't really disagree with me, because one of PIPLUP's trademark aspects, besides from being pride and short-tempered, is that it's also the star of PIPLUP's Pokemon team. And of course, as her main Pokemon, PIPLUP also wants to have as much attention as possible. If there are difficult situations, it always tries to look good in front of Dawn, and in general it also wants to be in the spotlight of attention as much as possible. And considering the fact that Dawn and PIPLUP have such a deep bond to each other, and that Dawn uses PIPLUP the most when it comes to a Pokemon team, I guess at a certain degree you can understand why PIPLUP is such a pride and overconfident little Pokemon. Which of course automatically means that every time there's something not going according to its plan, PIPLUP quickly loses its coolness. But besides that, there were several times where you could see that PIPLUP also was able to work in a team as well. But what probably is the most outstanding characteristic of PIPLUP is indeed its pride. Not only for being Dawn's main Pokemon, but first and foremost its pride when it comes to its skills. Just like all the main Pokemon and their trainer, PIPLUP also grew a lot along with Dawn when it comes to the skills and character, where Dawn's little Pokemon even refused to evolve at some point in the story because it wanted to show everybody that you can be awesome even without a necessary evolution. Which really reminded me of Pikachu. And although I can't really relate much to PIPLUP because of my own personal reasons, and that I'm not a guy who can really relate to PIPLUP with its attention seeking and pride attitude, I still put it on number 1 because in my opinion PIPLUP still till this day had the best and biggest character development of all the companion Pokemon. And that's why it really deserves place number 1. And yes PIPLUP, you might be number 1, but that still doesn't change the fact that I will never forgive you that you stole my man's waifu. You stole my man's Oshawott waifu, and that till this day is unforgivable. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed my little top 10 video, and see you guys, of course, in my comment section down below. Bye guys!